Sorry. Hello, hello. One more time. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Oh, um, okay. I had a last minute inspiration, but oh boy, I tell you, sometimes I cannot stop editing. Well, happy Friday, everyone. Let me see who's here. Who was here first? That's always a good question. Lady Metatrons was here first. Very, very nice. Thank you so much for that. Greatly appreciate it. Let me see here. Grab that. All right. And let me see who. Oh, let me close a couple things here. Oh, wait. I forgot to do something. Give me 1 second, you guys. Give me 1 second. I forgot to do something. Oh, by the way, did you guys watch the video that I shared on the community tab? It was about that interview with Ice T, Ice Cube, Ice Maker, whatever his name is. I can never remember which is which, Ice T or Ice Cube. I always confuse the two of them. But anyway, the guy that, well, he gave a commentary about the interview. And apparently, so it is a thing in journalism to get people on the record, about things that otherwise are not really within their wheelhouse, not really part of their domain, not I'll say this, in no way, in no way, for some of these people is it even within their field of expertise, but yet they do it. And in particular, whenever someone goes over to the UK, it's like a rite of passage that you have to get them on the record talking about Rachel Meghan Markle, aka the Duchess of Sussex. I guess it helps to drive, and when I say this, I'm definitely not giving them any excuse for it, but it seems to help drive the clicks and engagement for the next 24 hours. And sometimes, like for instance, with the whole New York thing, they can get miles of commentary where they would not stop asking people about it. And some of the people that we already kind of have problems with, they did not help matters at all. As a matter of fact, they seem to fan the flames and make it worse. Like, for instance, the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, even Whoopi Goldberg. It was quite a few people. I don't want to single any of them out, but it was quite a few people where you ask and they delivered every time, and that was very upsetting. So they asked the Iceman, whichever his name is, and I don't mean that in a I can't remember which one, but they asked him about it, and I'm not sure what he said. The thing is, he has been in the business for a long time, um, and he should know better. But yet and still, he keeps getting himself uh, in situations where his mouth gets him in trouble. I'll just say that he always seems unprepared, very very unpolished when it comes to doing these interviews and such. It's almost as though, well, I don't know. I don't know. I'll leave it at that. But he always seems woefully unprepared. So it's very frustrating. And the guy that did the commentary, he was quite sympathetic for the Duchess of Sussex, which is the only reason why I watched it. If he would have started coming for Meghan, then I was just going to back my way out of it just as easily as I got myself into it, because I didn't want to be bothered with that. So um, long as he was being fair and balanced, he didn't say anything against Meghan. As a matter of fact, he even said that she married for love. She married because she fell in love. That's it. That's it. And to imply anything else feeds into some of the worst tropes about women of color. Okay, so let me scroll here, and I'll just say hi to everybody else as I go along. I was working on something just now. Full disclosure, I was, but yeah, I hope you do take the time to look at that interview, because it was very interesting. It was very interesting, and that Ice person is very unpolished. Oh, Ice T. Okay, so Ice Cube is the cop with the lisp, right? The cop that has the lisp. I mean, he's real tough, but it seems to me like he has just a little bit of a lisp. A lisp. How you gonna be trying to be all hard and everything? How you gonna make people all intimidated? How are you gonna put fear in the hearts of the perpetrators with that lisp? I'm so bad. I shouldn't say that. But he does. He always had a little bit of a lisp. It's kind of like Daffy Duck uh, confronting you, isn't it? Now look. Oh man. Maybe you know what? He doesn't have a lisp. I'm just making that up. Am I? I thought I detected a little bit of a lisp. Just a little bit of a lisp. Oh man. Okay, thank you, Black Queen. It was Ice Cube for sure. Thank you very much, and thank you for the super sticker. All right. Oh, let me see. They should have stayed in the house to make changes. BS person, such a disappointment, my brother. Absolutely. Yeah. It was like a general platitude. That's what I think. It was like that all encompassing platitude. Well, in order to really affect change, you have to do it from the inside out. It was a very generic response about something that is near and dear to us, and that is the welfare and the well-being of the Sussexes. Um, yeah, I don't know. I've never been in that situation, so I don't know what it's like to have that type of pressure to um, come up with a comment on the fly like that. But then again, as someone pointed out, anytime you do those interviews, it's so easy to say, okay, we're not going to talk about this, and I'm not talking about that. And they don't have a choice but to respect your wishes. So that is another factor that goes into it. So, yeah. Okay. Well, it is a disappointment. And, he was going mainstream for a while. And I'm not saying that that was the best move to make, because, when you go mainstream, as we found out from a lot of these public figures, especially African American public figures, we find out that there's an implied ownership. And if they can't own you, then they mean to break you. Now, I do believe that that is a thing, that if they cannot own you, then they will try to break you. And Dave Chappelle has spoken about that. I do believe that there is something out there for people when there's money involved. Something very frightening, I would say. But in spite of that, no one was making you fear for your existence if you didn't speak about the Duchess of Sussex. Should have just left that alone. Well, it's a lot of good people that come out of Compton. Well, that wasn't the point. The other part of it is, again, I want to say this much. I don't think he communicates that well. I don't think he doesn't have good command of the English language, and it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch. He just doesn't have the best command of the English language. And that's not to say I do. I'm not going to put myself in the category of someone who does have great command of the English language. I've had an English instructor that tried to put a hit out on me. Okay, I've had English teachers that would have easily have taken me out if they had the opportunity. It is not polite what I've done to the mother tongue, but in spite of that, um, I get by. But he just doesn't perform well like that. And it's not. I'm not just saying that about Meghan. I'm saying anytime I've ever seen him interviewed, when he had to talk about subjects that was well above his academic achievements, it's a disaster. It's hard to watch. It is a disaster. So I find myself watching him and I'm just holding my breath. I just hold my breath because I'm always amazed. And it doesn't mean that you have to use the big words. I have never seen what's his name? Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg has a certain finesse, and he's able to articulate himself in a way that you understand. You don't feel high and dry. You don't feel that anxiety. Snoop Dogg. So it's not. I'm not saying that because he's a hip hopper. Definitely not that. Snoop Dogg, I can listen to him all day, but Ice-T, it always seems like he doesn't know what's going on. That's the difference. But Snoop Dogg, yeah, right. Thank you. Like when he's with Martha Stewart, you don't see her straining to understand what his point was or anything like that. So it's not using the big $50 words or $20 words. It's not that. He's just not prepared. He's not prepared for the big conversations or the little conversations. And it's very frustrating. And I cannot give him an excuse because he's been in the business for what, 30 years? Over 30 years now? He's been in the business? And you still don't know how to navigate an interview? That is frightening. What are you there for? And then, of course, they use him for politics. They use him to go after certain people that they definitely need a black face to do it. They need an African American. They need a person of color to do it. And again, he makes himself available. That is troubling for me. And every time I see him in that situation, this is what happens. And then I'm just like, oh, I got to breathe. I got to breathe. I got to breathe. I forgot to breathe. That's what happens. So I'll just say it one last time. It's not the vocabulary that is the problem. It is just his lack of preparation that is the problem. So there you go. That's all I have to say about that. If you did not see the interview, go to the community tab. I do believe it was the last thing that I posted there. Your take from it may vary from what I've seen, but I don't think I'm really wrong about this because I've seen several of his interviews and it's always the same thing. It just frustrated me because he allowed himself to be used yet again by people that, in my opinion, don't seem to have much regard for the Black community. So that is why it bothers me so much. Leave Meghan's name out of your mouth. That's it. Just keep Meghan's name out of your mouth. Yes, yes. Oh, that's so good. Mad World says Baron Snoop Dogg knows how to turn it off and turn it back on depending on who he's dealing with. You got a bell for that. Thank you. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. Snoop Dogg is true to himself without making a mockery of other people and situations and such. He can still be true to himself. I wish his fellow hip hopper rapper would take a page from his book and try to be himself and not allow himself to be used by airing out people that he has little or no knowledge of. And to hear him speak about government, someone invited him on the show one day to ask him, okay, so if the Democrats haven't done anything for Black people, what do you suggest? What is it they haven't done? And just like quite a few other people, he didn't have an answer. It's good. It's enough to provoke resentment amongst other people of color. But yet, when someone asks you your opinion or what could be done to make things better, it's always hemming and hawing and well, and really, that's all you have, and you're a public figure in show business for 30-40 years. That's all you have. And even if you have nothing, at least artfully deflect. Just sidestep it. But no, don't sidestep it. That's not what he does. It's hemming and hawing and this and that, and that's it. Very, very disappointing. Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for staying up late with us. And happy Friday, early Saturday morning to you. Okay, I'm done with that. Oh. Verbal incontinence. Oh, so you mean to tell me he was talking crap? Is that your way of saying talking crap? Hold on, let me put something on my lip because I'm about to split my lip with Church Nelly. There we go. I'm about to split my lip. Okay. Oh, sorry. Having a bit of post-nasal drip, you guys. Post-nasal drip. Yes, Hurricane Hillary is headed up the Baja Peninsula. Okay. Yeah, they might get some rain. That's okay. It doesn't matter because the Ginger Avenger is there to rescue everybody. So Suits is rising and rising. Hidden Figures, Big Dummy, and so on. Oh, yeah. And then there's a mistake that has been explained. I hope it's to everyone's satisfaction. Don't hold your breath. All right. Did you guys know that it is almost the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington? Did you all know that? 1963. Yeah, not a commemoration, a continuation. Who wrote that? Jesse Jackson? It's not a continuation. I'm sorry, it's not a commemoration. It's a continuation. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. I am somebody. I am somebody. I used to like Jesse Jackson's little rhymes. But yeah, so it's the 60th anniversary. And if anybody remembers that as it happened, I hate to tell you this, but you're old. Oh man. So if uh if this makes you feel that much more mature, um oh, and you know what? Check this out. This is the first time I've ever seen a color photo from the March on Washington. I don't believe that it's been colorized. I think it's the real deal. I mean, color photography was definitely available at that time. So there's no reason to think that there shouldn't have been. But with the colors this bright and vivid and everything, it almost seems like it's been, I don't know, maybe edited or something like that. But it seems like it's a real color photo, but maybe not. Maybe not. Is the contrast is not as sharp, but it's a beautiful photo. I've never seen that before. Let me see here. Beverly says Snoop Dogg is my favorite. I have always said he is very smart, but plays it down sometimes. He is a very intelligent person and knows what is happening. Absolutely. The only time he ever lost his cool was about Kobe that time. And I am going to totally give him a free pass for that one because that that particular time I could really understand where he was coming from. It was just a thing that should not have happened, and it was very awkward for everyone involved. And if you know, you know. I'm not going to go into all of it because it will stir up a lot of bad feelings. But yeah, that particular moment was that was not good. So, but I give him a free pass for that one. Helen Cole says, yes, old and very seasoned. I was 5 years old and attended with my older sister and brother. Good for you. Thank you for sharing that. You were in a sitting in a well standing with a front seat to history. That is outstanding. Thank you so much for the super sticker or super chat, and thank you as always for watching Royal Sussex. Yeah, there's quite a few squatties that have that connection. I believe Jerry White had mentioned a connection to the March on Washington. So, yeah, there's quite a few of y'all. Very, very cool. Um, verbal incontinence. Oh man, Andrew says, Baron, I just cannot tolerate Ice Cube under any circumstances. Never have, never will. Not trying to waste any of my breath doing, saying anything regarding his ignoramus orange man loving self. Yeah, that is oh man. You know, it almost makes me think that he's in a bad situation and this is not even something that he could turn off if he wanted to. Either he's not as smart as he thinks he is, or he's in a bad situation and he doesn't have a choice. And I hope that's not the case. But it almost seems as though he's being coerced into, and even some of his like longtime friends and supporters are like, "What are you doing? What's wrong with you?" So it's not just what we're seeing as you know the general public, but there's people that's actually worried about him. Cookies and Cream says Ice Cube should have never commented on something that he's not knowledgeable about. Would he want his kids to stay in an abusive situation? Oh, that's a good point, Cookies and Cream. He shouldn't expect Meghan to. She's someone's child and mom. That is very, very true. Yeah. Yeah. Um, like I say, something has got a hold of him, whether it's uh, bad management, lack of management. Is he being coerced? You know, remember when Martin Lawrence went from the top and then he wasn't? It's been quite a few people. It makes you wonder: is it something with their management? Is it the sudden success? Is it boredom? Midlife crisis? Something is at play. Something is definitely at play. Let me see. Oh, I wasn't aware of the March on Washington. I turned 8 that year, but I used to hear my parents talk about the march. We lived in Southwest DC back then. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that. So you were there, but you didn't know of it. Huh, very cool. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Let's go on to the next thing, shall we? Now, I posted a video earlier, part of my series. There was another byline story today. It was, I think, was it Peter Jukes' commentary? But anyway, the media scandal that the media don't want to touch. Byline Times will keep exposing the dark forces in the shadows. So that was the topic. Is there for your consideration. It's on the community tab. I think it's like maybe 8 minutes long. No, not even 8. It's like 6 and some change. So, oh no, it's not on the community tab. Well, I'll add it to the community tab later. But yeah, so that was the one that came out today. So far, nothing is really happening except they said the Sun was going to do their own investigation. Parliament has made an inquiry, and I don't know that the police are involved at all. It should be noted that Dan Wooten has denied any wrongdoing. He hasn't denied being those other people, the Martin Branning and the whatever the broad's name was. He hasn't denied that, but he has denied any wrongdoing, and he said that he's changed, he's a better person, and that he's hoping to be the journalist that he always wanted to be. It's almost hard to say that without laughing, right? But that's what he said, is that it's his intention that he's going to be the person, the journalist, whatever, that he's always strived to be, that he's not the same person that he was a couple of months ago. Oh, so you got to believe him when he says that he's changed. He's not that person anymore. Okay. He's Dan Wooten 2.0. He's not that guy that everybody is so mad at right now. So give him a break, y'all. Yeah, give him a break. He's not the same rootin' tootin' Dan Wooten. He's a changed man, and he's going to make sure that he's the journalist that he's always wanted to be. Let's see, Baron, that's a long investigation. If it was anyone else, they would have been fired. B. Martim, thank you for the super chat. And yes, it's true. If it was anyone else, I'm not necessarily fired, of course. I believe you mean at least suspended by now, and then, of course, terminated. But which always follows a suspension. We all know that. But instead, nothing has happened. So far, there's absolutely no movement. So point well taken, and thank you for your comment. Let's see. Deborah Robinson wants to say hi to a few people. We always like to help out with that. And Big Mama says, hey, Ain't gonna do nothing, Baron. They gonna wait out until they think people have forgotten about it. Thank goodness for the Sussex Squad Detective Agency. We have receipts. Yeah, and that has been the thing that has frustrated him is just that, is that the Sussex Squad in particular, almost exclusively when it comes to online communities, have seemed to have latched onto it. Whereas there are other people out there, I've seen other content creators that are not squatties that was doing the play-by-play, based on the latest articles and everything. I've seen a few of those, but just not enough to, I guess, encourage the mainstream to pick it up. The mainstream media is still avoiding it. So that is frustrating, but I just hold out. If something really big develops, then it could all come crumbling down in no time. And then he'll get a chance to be the journalist that he always said he wanted to be. So on to Suits. Suits achieved 13th biggest week ever recorded on Nielsen streaming top 10. Sweet Magnolias take third place after season's 3 debut. So once again, Suits is at the top of the Nielsen weekly streaming ranking. The USA Network series, which concluded in 2019, but has received renewed interest since its debut on Netflix, was watched for 3.9 billion minutes during the week of July 17th to the 23rd. Measured across both Netflix and Peacock, the number earned Suits the number 13 spot on the list of the biggest streaming weeks ever in Nielsen, since Nielsen began measuring streaming viewership in 2020. The series also recently nabbed the 14th, 15th, and 27th entries on the charts. It is the most successful acquired title on Nielsen charts by far. The only shows that have clocked bigger measurements weeks are streaming original Stranger Things, Wednesday, Tiger King. You got to say it like they do. Tiger King, Ozark, and Dahmer. So those are the only ones. That is impressive. Gosh, because I know Tiger King, that's one of the few things I've actually watched. And gosh, that was good. It really caught me off guard. I was not expecting that. So out of all of those, that's the only one that I watched. I'm not going to watch the Dahmer. I lived through it. A lot of those tragedies and stuff like that, once I've lived through it, and I do mean via the news and such, I don't feel the need to do a repeat of it. But yeah, sometimes if it's something that I didn't like follow at the time, then of course I want to see it. But I'm gonna pass on that one. I didn't know anything about Tiger King, so that made it interesting for me. Lady Metatrons, I heard a lot of people gave it some rave reviews, but yeah, I was of an age where I remember in glowing details everything that happened, all of the stuff that came out at the time. So it would be a bit redundant for me to go through those gory details again. However, after the series was such a big success, I did read an article about, things like where the building was located and all that kind of stuff. That was interesting to me, but yeah, that was enough for me just to have experienced it, however far away it was, to have experienced it the first time around. So I usually avoid stuff like that. Let me see. Okay, so here you can see one of the charts top streaming programs in measurement week since 2020. So there it is. Stranger Things was the number one at that point. Then Wednesday, then Stranger Things, then Wednesday, Tiger King, Ozark, Stranger Things, blah, blah, blah. And then look there, 13, 14, 15, and 27 is Suits. So in no time, Suits may actually climb on up that chart, I think. So 3.9 billion minutes viewed, fifth straight week at number one, fourth straight record-breaking week, number 13 on the list of biggest Nielsen streaming weeks ever. Suits is the most successful acquired show in Nielsen streaming history. So for an acquired show, is the most successful. But when it comes to the actual views in its entirety, well, as you can see, it's still a ways away, but maybe that may change. We'll see. Oh, thank you, Black Queen. Yes, please make sure you hit the thumbs up. Please hit the thumbs up, like, share, and by all means, subscribe. If you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. And right here, you can see Netflix Peacock Suits is number one for the in terms of episodes, minutes, and then let me see, top 10 original programs. Okay, so Suits is not there because it wasn't original, just to Netflix. And then over here, top 10 streaming acquired programs. Well, you can see Suits is right there at number one. And top 10 streaming movies, not at all. So that is the charts that were available. Now, over here, Deadline, Suits reign over Nielsen streaming charts for fourth consecutive week. Sweet Magnolia season, well, I don't care nothing about those. Audience don't appear to be slowing down on their Suits binge anytime soon. For the fourth consecutive week, the legal dramedy, has set Nielsen viewer records with a whopping 3.9 billion minutes viewed across Netflix and Peacock from July 17th to the 23rd. That is, once again, the most viewing minutes ever in one measurement week for an acquired title. Oh, it's easily snagged the title of most viewed streaming program that week based on Nielsen data. And it almost feels like a bit of deja vu is setting in because Bluey recorded 1.2 billion minutes viewed, which is only a second time ever that a series has broken the billion-minute threshold. The first time was last week. Oh, that's interesting. Well, you know what? I am very, very happy because that means that there's just more people that hopefully will see the Duchess of Sussex in a positive light with all of the attempted character assassination that has been committed by the British tabloid media. What Netflix Suits phenomenon tells us about streaming? Looks like folks are missing good old-fashioned television. Yeah, that's true, because you have all these reality shows that seems to have choked up the airways. Speaking of choked up airways, was there any new tweets from Robert Jobson? Speaking of choked up airways, I didn't see anything from him today, so I'm just asking for a friend if Robert Jobson posted anything. Speaking of choked up airways. He's so full of it. He's choking on his own words. But yeah, so that triggered me when I said choked up airways. All right. But yeah, so then slip past it right there. All right, so let me do it like this. Oh boy, I got a whole bunch of stuff today. So you remember when television seasons lasted more than 10 episodes, The viewers who have made up Suits' 3.7 billion streaming minutes between Netflix and Peacock sure as heck do. The hit series, which premiered on the USA Network back in 2011, where it ran for 9 seasons, has found itself in the cultural conversation after making the shift from Prime Video to its two aforementioned streamers, where it seems to have taken over the world. Everywhere you turn, new fans are discovering the series, and old ones are giving it a rewatch. Suits has broken Nielsen's streaming records for 2 weeks in a row with over 3 billion minutes watched, leaving analysis wondering. Analysts wondering why, and the creatives behind the show asking where their money is. Meaning, of course, the people who help create the show that are not getting the big fat residual checks. But there's a fairly simple answer to at least the first question, especially longer series with more seasons don't necessarily make for better shows, but storytellers' ability to lean into the long form has been severely cut into by the streaming model. Um, let's see, and if Suits is any indication, there's still a clear audience demand for longer shows. Having 9 seasons doesn't replace the need to have strong individual seasons, but it does give the audience more opportunity to connect with shows, characters, and explore the worlds and series that they've engaged with. So, for you younger Royal Sussex watchers, um, I right now, you know what I've been asking myself for a while now, because we don't have Dallas and Dynasty, because we don't have some of those other hour-long like family dramas and such. I am amazed that broadcast television was able to come up with something like, well, you know what? I was totally addicted to Dynasty, so I'm just going to use Dynasty. How in the world do you come up with 22 to 26 episodes? That's 6 months of production. Easily 6 months. In 6 months, they were able to put together hour-long shows, within a week. Within a week, they're working on these storylines, costumes, settings, props, all of that. And it was quality stuff. I mean, yeah, all shows have had some really bad seasons. Starsky and Hutch, Beretta, all of those shows. When you think about it, how in the world were they able? It was like a machine just churning out pieces. And yet they were able to do that. And so that is a good question, is, are you getting the same type of quality with 10 episodes as you got with, say, 26 episodes? And don't forget, it always started out as a movie. It always started out as a 2-hour movie. And yeah, so it's amazing what they were able to do. Because when you look at, like, I used to watch Keeping Up Appearances, right? Well, Keeping Up Appearances, they didn't do 26 episodes a year. They didn't have a 22 or 20 episodes. I think they had like 8 or 10 or something like that. And then they were done. That was the season. But American television, they were cranking out stuff day after day. And don't even get me started with the soap operas, like the daytime soap operas. 5 days a week, an hour long. Some of them were 30 minutes, but an hour long, 30-minute show. Just think about that, you guys. Think back on some of the shows that you used to watch, shows that had been on for years. Even Little House on the Prairie. Look at how much material they were able to crank out. That was impressive. I didn't think so much about it then, But looking at how much shorter seasons are today, it really makes me look back with awe that those men and women were able to put that stuff out there like that. So, having said all of that, I'm just going to add one more thing: pay them, pay everybody. They have to pay these people because that was some quality stuff. And there is generational wealth that is circling the drain. Well, actually, it ain't circling the drain, is going into the owners of the production rights, whoever those people are. They're the ones who make the big money. But there's a lot of people that did a lot of work that are just not fairly compensated. So I hope they will get compensated for their hard work because trust me when I say it, doing Royal Sussex is not the easiest thing I've ever done, but it's one of the most enjoyable things that I've ever done. And trying to be creative on the fly or trying to have stuff organized is not so easy. And some of the people that were so hypercritical when I first started Royal Sussex, some of which I had to block, I wish they understood that you have to take time to find your voice, not someone else's voice. But eventually we got there. B. Martin says, Young and the Restless made me skip school a lot. B. Martin, thank you again for the super chat. And I actually watched what was that theme song? Was it Nadia's theme? I started watching The Young and the Restless. I was always ABC, but somehow I drifted over to The Young and the Restless, and it was really good. I mean, I remember there was an episode that is when I think there was either I think it was one of the kids had ran away, and it was so dramatic. It was really good, and I actually watched an interview with what's her name, Erica Slezak, the one who played Victoria Lord. I watched an interview with her where she talked about her early days on One Life to Live and how she was introduced to it. And sadly, the one that played Tina Lord, oh gosh, I would know her name if I wasn't trying to say it right now. But unfortunately, she just passed away after a long illness. I think she just passed away. What was her name? But anyway, that was a good show. I really enjoyed those shows. They were so good. I still remember when Asa Buchanan, when the Buchanans came to town. That was really good. Philip Carey played Asa Buchanan. So yeah, there was some good shows. And I'm just in awe of the way they put out so much material. And so when you think about that, you guys, I want you to at least take a second and think about how much hard work went into those shows. Because it was a lot of hard work and there were a lot of people involved, and that they could put something out like that week after week after week until the down season, that was amazing. It's one of those things that makes me very proud as an American because, as you know, network television, there were like two countries that I think it was just the US and the UK where they pioneered television, and really the US with the big networks. Post-war America was very prosperous, and a lot of department stores and such like GE Theater, they're the ones who financed television. And just think, Betty White was there from the beginning. Betty White went on television, I think it was 1948 or 49, and she was on television practically until the start of the pandemic. Imagine that. Imagine that. Betty White was television. There was hardly ever a time when Betty White wasn't doing some project on television. That's impressive. I'm impressed by the whole thing. I didn't really think about it until probably this week, how amazing what those people were able to do. So thank you so much, B. Martin, for your comment. Let me see. Oh, Helen Cole says, you do a great job. I look forward to your chat each day. Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Helen Cole. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Okay, so Joanne Baker says, Baron, you're bringing back memories. Remember GH with, General Hospital with Luke and Laura. Yes, the famous wedding. You know, I stopped watching General Hospital when the Cassadines tried to freeze Port Charles. That was just a little bit too much for me. I'm like, you know what? This is getting silly now. They're trying to freeze Port Charles. This is really getting out of hand. So I stopped watching. But I'm going to tell you a story that I rarely ever tell anybody. But here goes. Here goes. I'm going to tell it to 1,125 of my closest, dearest friends. Oh, yes, Andrea Evans. Thank you, Big Mama. That was her name. She used to have such a cute shape, didn't she? I was fascinated. She had that little tiny way. She had such a cute shape. And she would always wear something that would accentuate her body in a way. Yeah. So I'm embarrassed to say that's what I remembered about her the most, was that she had such a cute shape. And then sometimes she had the bags under her eyes. Not that that was a bad thing, but I'm just saying, when I think about her, those are the two things that jump out. But yeah, Andrea Evans, I loved her. I thought she was a lot of fun. And of course, Dorian Lord. Oh my God, Dorian was a monster. I loved her. Um, but yeah, I love Dorian Lord. She was always she was a hoot. Yes, Tina and Cordero and his mother Maria that was trying to kill everybody. Remember that? Maria, when she had got a hold of that stuff and she was going after Vicky, she would dream about. And you know, I couldn't understand that, because I would say to myself, okay, I can understand going cuckoo over a lot of people, but what was his name? Not Asa. Asa was the daddy. The other Buchanan, his son, his eldest son, his son. Anyway, Maria was like love struck on him, and I just couldn't understand it. I'm like, he looked old as his daddy. I don't get it. But yeah, Maria was willing to take Clint. Oh yes, Clint. Clint Buchanan. I couldn't stand Clint Buchanan with his goody two shoe self. I couldn't stand Clint. I could I And you know who else I couldn't stand on One Life to Live? Kevin and Joey. Kevin and Joey. Every time the story was getting good, they would bring them kids out, and I would turn the channel. I could not stand Kevin and Joey. I remember that time that they had I don't want to say the word, but one of Asa's hunting apparatuses, they had got it. And by the time the show went on, I'm embarrassed to say, but they had took part of Asa's hunting gear. Do you remember that? And by the time the show went off, I thought, well, okay, maybe that'll take care of one of them, but still there'll be one left. I could not stand them kids. They would come out there with them squeaky voices and everything. And just as the show was getting good, here come Kevin and Joey. And they have to go to Arizona because Joey has asthma, and the air in Pine. I'm just like, you know, put them kids in a boarding school and get back to the story. There was nothing interesting about those kids. I couldn't stand them. Kevin and Joey. Whew. Kevin and Joey. And you know, one time I was trying to say Vicky and Clint, and I by mistake I said Clicky and Vent. Clicky and Vent instead of Vicky and Clint. Oh, anyway, you guys. But yes, those were the days. That was some fun television, wasn't it? What is that? Joey is now the rookie? Oh, you know what? I'm telling you. I could not stand those kids. To me, they just upset the whole storyline. But okay, I'm going to say one more thing about a soap opera, and then I'm going to have to move on because I got so much stuff to cover. Do you guys, I don't know which soap opera it was, but there was a famous story about one of the soap operas where a character went up to the attic to get some skis and didn't come down for like 5 years or 10 years or something like that. Which soap opera was that, if you know? But yeah, there was one soap opera where they had wrote the character off the show, and the last thing people remember is that the character went up to the attic to get some skis and didn't come down for several years. Uh, they didn't bring the character back for several years. That was funny. How do you go up to the attic to get some skis and then they don't see you for several years? Teresa McDougall says, Baron, the days when we'll set our VCR time to tape all the daytime shows and then watch, I'm sorry, when you come home from work. Yeah. Oh, I didn't tell you the story about how I started watching the soap operas. So I had a half day at school. We had a half day. And then we, when we got out of school, it was like 12:30, something like that. And so when I came home, I fixed lunch and I asked my sister, I said, what does she want on her sandwich? And she didn't answer. I said, what do you want on your sandwich? And then all of a sudden I heard bang, 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 and wheels screeching and all that stuff. It was something to do with Benny Sago or what? No, Karen Wolak. And what was the guy that used to employ her in that oldest profession? Remember Karen Wolak, Judith Light? Well, anyway, I turned around to look at the television to see what all the excitement was, and my head got stuck. And every day I started watching One Life to Live. Will continue in a moment. And so it started with One Life to Live. And then I think I started watching General Hospital. And then I started watching, what was the other one? No, I'm sorry. It was One Life to Live, All My Children, General Hospital. And then I believe I started watching Ryan's Hope until they took that off. Ryan's Hope wasn't on that long. And The Edge of Night, that one was kind of creepy to me. So I didn't really get into The Edge of Night. But I remember Ryan's Hope. So it was Ryan's Hope, Edge of Night, General Hospital, One Life to Live, and All My Children. Yeah, so it was like, what? How many is that? 3, 4, 5. There were like 5 of them on ABC, and I think I watched at least 4 of them at one time. So, but Benny Sago, ugh. Benny Sago, that little hairy beast used to give me the creeps. He was just disgustingly short and hairy and weird looking, Benny Sago. Ugh. I'm like, why would she let Benny Sago touch her? Ugh. Why would you let Benny Sago put them little greasy, hairy, the backs of his hands seemed like they were hairy and ugh. Benny Sago. Don't let Benny Sago touch you. Ugh. Who gives it up to a Benny Sago? Oh, Marco Dane. Yes, Marco Dane. That was his name. It was Marco who employed Karen Wolak. Yes, Marco Dane. I remember that. Yes, there you go. Marco Dane. Although, you know what? Marco used to have a little swag about him. You have to admit, Marco had a little bit of a swag about him. Just a little. Not much, just a little. But whoever cast him to play that role, they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. But yeah, Marco and Karen. And what was it? Locust Street? Wasn't that where she worked, was Locust Street? How do I remember Locust Street? Karen worked on Locust Street. That's where her employer stationed her, was on Locust Street, where she practiced the world's oldest profession. So, but you know what they say? They got to eat too. All right. Oh man. Okay, so you know what, guys? Let's keep this moving. As the world turns, so shall I. All right, so we gotta. All right. Okay. How did Suits become America's most watched TV show of the summer? How did they just ask? How did that happen? I'll tell you how it happened. That's how it happened. That's it, and that's all. That's how it happened. And then, of course, is Prince William too lazy to work? Well, that was a question asked back in 2017. And the very awkwardly and very honestly put answer is yes, he is too lazy. He doesn't care about that work. And I don't blame him for it because this is something that he was born into. It's not a career choice that he made. It was a choice that they made when he was conceived. So it's unfortunate that that's his future. And if he is not ready to embrace his future now, I'm afraid he'll never be ready. And it's only going to help further decline the institution. That's right, hazy, lazy, and crazy. The Italian fans claim Prince William snubbed the Italian president by refusing to congratulate him after their Euros victory, despite videos showing the Duke being blocked from reaching him in Wembley Royal Box. Does that look like William is blocked? You see the president of Italy right there in the circle, and you can see that big, massive skin head of his. There's one person between him and the Italian president. How is he blocked? How is he blocked? Do you see that he's blocked? That's just the tabloid making excuses. That top photo is more the case. The UK lost. Wait, let me go back. The UK lost, and he couldn't take it. As a matter of fact, you could see that sourpuss look on his face because the UK lost. It wasn't because. Where is he blocked? Those seats are empty. Do you see how many empty seats there are between William, who is the third person in that row of people that you see there? There's one man standing there. How was he blocked? Prince William currently trending in Italy. Well, yeah, he was trending because of this. The Italians were just like, that's not cool. And of course, the tabloids tried to give him as much cover as possible. Well, they don't seem to be helping him out today. As a matter of fact, it seems like tabloids are coming for him. Prince William booed by Wembley crowd at FA Cup final. This is what he's afraid of, is another repeat of what happened before. And he would get booed. He would definitely get booed. I don't care if it is Australia. There are going to be people that boo him. I promise you, there are going to be people that boo him. And if not, I'd be surprised. But he's not popular. He's a joke. He's a joke. Harry, of course, when he went to the what was it, the rugby finals, he went to congratulate both teams. He went to meet with the winning team, and he met with the losing team. He showed very what do you call it? Very quality behavior. He was being a gentleman. He was showing good sportsmanship, to the opponents. But William, he didn't even bother to go meet with the Italian team. He didn't congratulate the Italian president. Not only did he not meet with the team, he didn't even meet with the president. I'm sorry, I should say. Yeah, he didn't do either. It was it was just like it was a slap in the face. That's what it was. It was a slap in the face. It was not cool. And I think it was embarrassing to the United Kingdom. It was embarrassing. So maybe it's best that he stays home. Maybe that's the best possible course is that he stays home because otherwise all he'll do is embarrass himself and embarrass the country with his poor sportsmanship. Now, he's on vacation. And as you know, William has always been known as work shy Will. He's not the hardest working royal, he's the least working of the royals. And that has always gotten him in trouble. So nobody expects that he's going to change anytime soon. But there's a lot of pressure out there from people who want William in Australia for that last game. And so far, William is not going. And now it's just like, will he not go to try to save face? Or I don't know. I hope he doesn't go, though. I hope he doesn't go because I want people to see the real William. I want people to see him as he is and not who he pretends to be. And who he is selfish and cruel and mean spirited. And what else? A loser, a failure, and a short sighted panty waist. That's what he is. So that's a new one, right? A loser, a failure, and a short sighted panty waist. But that's what he is. And it's high time that people understand who they're dealing with. So let me see here. Workshop will go prune your rose bush. Oh, let me see. Joy Moore says Baldy is too lazy to brush his teeth. Yeah, he was too lazy to go into that dental office when he was down there pretending to help the homeless. Let me see here. Actually, you know what I'm looking for, right? Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, man. And I had all day to find that. You know, I'm looking for light skinned Harry. Let me see here. And as per usual, I don't know what I headed the video. Let me see. Where is light skinned Harry? Is this it? Nope. I'm looking for light skinned Harry. Y'all know which one I'm talking about. I cannot find it. Okay, that's Warrior Games. Nope, nope, nope. And that's one of my favorite videos is light skinned Harry. Nope. Oh man, I don't know what. Oh wait, let me see. Let me try that one. Okay. Is that it? Nope, that's not it. Oh well, I don't know what I did with that one, but I was looking for light skinned Harry. Oh well, I'll try it later. I'll try it later, you guys. But yeah, so Harry actually went to congratulate the guys that you see pictured there. So he congratulated both teams, and it just showed good sportsmanship in comparison to his brother. So that was the whole point. As I stall. Oh man, where's light skinned Harry? Try that one more time. Bear with me. Nope. Okay, that ain't working out. All right, so on to the next one. Can you figure out which one of these people is Emily Andrews? Anybody? We're going to play a little game. It's called Find Emily Andrews. Anybody? Can you find Emily Andrews? As you know, Emily is no stranger to bright, colorful makeup. Now look hard now. If you look close enough, there she is. See there? Now step away, pull back, right? Right now you don't see her. Now lean in. Now kind of squint your eyes, lean in, and there she is. There ought to be clowns, but where are the clowns? Well, maybe they're here. You know, I was talking about that video the other day where Emily Andrews was whispering behind Angela Levin's back. Oh man. So the witch Angela Levin got caught live on TV. It was so much fun to watch. You liar. Well, and I told you Emily was there kind of instigating things and coercing the other woman into this confrontation with Angela Levin. And that was literally what she was doing behind. Okay, I don't think Angela could see everybody in the studio, but Emily was literally, she said, yeah, that's what you know, all of that. And then she put, like a little kid, she put her hand up to her mouth like, oops, did I say? I'm telling you, that was some of the best television. So I think I actually have the video, but I can't show you the whole video, but I will let you listen to the confrontation. I'll put this up so I don't get in trouble, and I'll let you listen to the confrontation. So give me just a second to grab that. Let's see, Angela. Okay, take a listen. Now, let me set the stage for you. This was after the Queen had died.
Harsh, one woman to another. I mean, you've just used the phrase, she is not fit to be part of the royal family, yet we saw her there. Do you think you've been very harsh, one woman to another? I mean, you've just used the phrase, she is not fit to be part of the royal family, yet we saw her there, you know, consoling her husband with her hand in the small of his back, holding his hand, being gracious and charming and looking decorous and delightful. I mean, why would you describe her as unfit for royalty?
Well, she's not fit because she doesn't want to behave as if she's the wife of the sixth in line to the throne. She likes to lead. She likes it to be all about her. She wants to be out there in front. I don't mean she's not fit because she's not clever enough or beautiful enough or anything like that, but she just hated it. She hated being told what to do. She hated the protocols. So that's why I don't think she's right for it at all.
I'm going to bring Emily back in because Emily's body language is certainly signalling that she may disagree with you.
That's fine.
Well, I just thought in those pictures on Saturday, Meghan looked incredibly nervous, and I think she was really, really trying to do her best at what was a very, very difficult opportunity. I obviously completely agree. She has said some very negative things about the royal family. It was a real culture clash, her coming into the British royal family. She didn't really understand what it was about. I know Angela thinks she didn't make enough of an effort. I think it was a very, very difficult situation. I think there is blame. I think it's much more nuanced, Angela, than perhaps you give it credit for. I think there was blame on both sides, and obviously it all blew up into Megxit. But I think that on Saturday, and absolutely trying hardest and to be what she ought to be, a dutiful wife and a respectful member of the royal family. You know, Angela, she is a member of the royal family. You can't say that she's not fit to be. She is a member of the royal family in a personal capacity. The Queen said several times that she loved Harry and Meghan. Charles has said they love Harry and Meghan. And I don't think it's for any of us to deem whether she's fit or not.
And I'll just bring in Rupert because I think he concurs.
Well, I absolutely. I know it's been very difficult for all the royal family to deal with the fallout from this, and Emily's absolutely right. The nuances and what she has said in some of those interviews is hurtful. But actually, that moment when she's out there, you actually realise there could have been and should be a force for good for the royal family, because it did when she was greeting people. There may have, if she was nervous because she knows there's.
Everything, if she puts her foot wrong, she's going to be crucified.
Let me ask Angela a question. Angela, do you feel any guilt? Do you feel that you have been responsible for fueling a kind of anti-Meghan faction that has been spiteful and targeting and possibly fanciful as well? Quite a lot of what's been said about her has been pretty much manufactured anyway.
Well, it's up to you what you think of me.
I'm asking if you think that of yourself. I'm not saying what I think of you.
Well, of course not, because I think the talking to Oprah Winfrey was a disgrace. There are at least 17 lies there. I think she's attacked the royals completely unnecessarily. I think she's changed Harry to be a sort of walking victim.
But hang on, but that means that you consider him a sap, someone so malleable, and of course he's you know, served very bravely in Mortal Kombat. He's not the kind of guy that can be pushed around, is he?
I don't have to justify myself to you. I'm not in court. I make it. This is my view. This is what I've said. People ask me questions and I answer them honestly to what I've said. I follow them very closely. I spent 15 months with Prince Harry. The Prince Harry I knew was absolutely charming, instinctive like his mother, full of fun. And now he looks, when he's out, you know, incredibly unhappy and very, very tense and resentful.
I wonder if you're just rehashing that kind of biblical story that we've all heard so many times before of the evil temptress and the trusting and vulnerable man who is gullible and malleable in her hands. And I wonder whether, you know, it's based on any kind of real knowledge about her personality and what she truly feels and thinks. Because after all, how can you know? How can any of us really know?
Well, that's your view. My view is if I'm asked a question, I answer it in the way I think, and that's it.
Yeah, but it's a question about what you base your thoughts on, whether you've just imagined it, whether you're projecting, whether you really know, whether you actually have experience, whether they're facts, whether it's conjecture. You know, you say what you think, but what are the thoughts based on is the question, isn't it?
My brother didn't attack me. If you want to attack me, you shouldn't invite me on. Because
I don't think I'm attacking you. I'm just asking you.
No, you're not just asking me. You've got an agenda there to attack me. And so I think
I certainly haven't. I've got no agenda at all. No agenda at all, but I certainly am aware that people feel that. For example, we were talking at the beginning of the programme about comments made about Meghan, weren't we? And it was being said that she had said that she wouldn't go on the walk battle, that she would only go if she was followed by Netflix cameras, this kind of thing. And that was false. It was completely false.
Angela tweeted about that.
And it's been suggested that you were one of the people tweeting that, and apparently there's no factual evidence for that at all. I mean, if you're going to tell me that there is, that's fine.
I don't have to tell you anything, and I don't really think I want to be invited on to this programme and then to be treated in this manner. So
well, I hope you haven't felt that I've treated you discourteously. I was only wondering whether you might have felt that Meghan might deserve, I don't know, more compassion and maybe a more maybe a more sort of forgiving reception, possibly. That's all I was asking you. Anyway, I'm very grateful for you coming on the programme, and thank you very much indeed. That is Angela Levin, and she is the biographer of Prince Harry and also of the Queen Consort.
Ooh! And then you could hear Angela in the background. She tweeted that. And then they even said you tweeted that. Woo, boy. I tell you, that was my best day since Christmas. Do you understand? That was my best day since Christmas. I don't know that I've ever had a finer day and it wasn't Christmas. I loved it. Yeah, she even tweeted that. And they say you tweeted that. Woo! 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 What a sinister laugh, right? But my goodness, was that funny? And they say you tweeted that. I mean, and Emily Andrews, that snake Emily Andrews, just right there in her ear, on the stage, sitting next to her or a desk or whatever, whispering in her ear. She did tweet that. Oh, how the tables have turned. And poor Angela just didn't know which way to turn. There she was, in this confrontation that she wasn't expecting. Yeah, it gave me my life. That was one of the finest moments I've ever experienced. And I say, keep them coming. Keep them coming. She did say that. She tweeted it. Lacey D, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for being here tonight. Let me see. And YM Droid says, only thing missing was a photo. The only thing missing was a folding chair. Absolutely, because she was verbally clobbered. She was verbally clobbered. And that look on her face, oh Lord, that look on her face. I tried to sneak a couple of peeks in for you guys so you could at least see who was talking. But yeah, that was hilarious. And Emily was sitting there, and you could tell it was the Queen's funeral in this picture because she's wearing black. Emily's sitting there with her hand over her mouth like, oh, did I say too much? I'm telling you guys, I cannot stand Emily Andrews, but at the same time, I love how messy she is. She doesn't know the meaning of loyalty. She doesn't know how to be a team player. At some point, she's going to turn on you. Just like I said, she was the one that was sitting there coercing Jobo into the whole thing about Archie. Although I'm pretty sure Jobo would have said plenty on his own, but she kind of kept it going, kind of keeping everything in focus, just enough for him to to get himself in trouble. So let's see. B. Martin says, I have a chair. I got a chair. Well, thank you so much for that, B. Martin. Oh, you can't leave home without your chair nowadays. You just can't. So yeah, that was one of my favorite things ever, was that moment right there. Well, then don't invite me on the show. Well, then why? And I don't think I want to. Yeah, you do. You have an agenda. Yes, you do. You have an agenda. Oh boy. So Mrs. Magoo, now she sees everything. Now Mrs. Magoo sees the light. Nobody likes you. Nobody ever has, and no one ever will. Nobody likes you, Mrs. Magoo. Ah, oh Lord. Every day should be like that. Every day. Not just every now and again, but every day should be like that. Yes, you do. You have an agenda. Oh, put your big girl pants on and cut it out. Nobody's after you. All right, let me move on here. Okay. Oh, let's see. Next slide. There we go. Oh, William. So, yeah, now William has found himself in a spot of bother, don't you know? Poor William is, we kind of spoke about it earlier. poor William is getting the business end of it right now because he refuses to go to Australia. And with him being the president of or the patron president of football, he really ought to go. But instead, he's pretending to care about the environment. Check. He's pretending that he's trying to spend quality time with his family. Check. He doesn't work that much. He's not his grandmother. He's not even his father, which is, he's none of those things. He's never been known as someone dedicated to the cause. So right here, Prince William faces backlash for refusing trip to World Cup final. Prince William was met with a public backlash when he refused to travel to Australia to support the Lionesses in the World Cup final. Okay, you're satisfied? You're just not going to go, huh? Well, there's going to be a price to be paid for that, because even some of the usual royalists are coming after him. Even some of the usual royalists are coming after him. And there seems to be no let up. They are all over him like a cheap suit. And they expect him to be at the game. It's like Auntie Esther told Fred Sanford, and when I pull your chain, you better bark. Well, William, they're pulling your chain. What are you going to do? If I was you, I'd start barking, because they expect you to be there. Yep, they're pulling your chain, and you best get to barking, because they are paying 84 million pounds a year, according to the wrong numbers, when it's more like 354 pounds a year. But whatever they're paying, you best get to stepping, because you are the president, patron, and all that kind of stuff, and they expect you to perform. So get to stepping. And you know what? If he does show up, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to do everything I can to make it as painful and humiliating as possible. You know that. You know that. I am going to have a good laugh about it, as I should. But he best go, because I've never seen this. Well, should I say, I haven't seen this kind of backlash for him since he missed the Commonwealth Day in 2017. He hasn't experienced this kind of backlash. But it's here, it's happening, and he's in trouble. Now, I want you to see the contrast. There's Harry up there at the top. I believe that was in Japan, 2019, gracefully acknowledging the other team. I don't know if he's the one that presented the cup, but at least he was gracefully acknowledging the other team, the winning team, as a matter of fact. I think it was South Africa that won, right? And there you could see him wearing his girl dad t-shirt. Well, I decided to bring that photo out just to remind you that any man that is worth their salt these days, you have to acknowledge the achievements of girls whenever and wherever possible. You just have to. That is being a good steward of your position. You have to make these acknowledgments, because if you don't, you're going to be really missing out on something. So that's the other reason why he needs to go, because as sovereign someday, you're going to be like the father of the land, and people are going to expect you to be very even-handed with the way you spend your time, whether it's a girls' team or a boys' team. You got to put the effort out there, and I know it seems like I'm trying to help them, but it's just common sense. This is 2023. And there was a time when people were not as interested in competitive sports where women are concerned. But the Lionesses as well, was it the Lionesses last time? They have proved that there is an interest there. and that people expect you to show up. So, like I said, Auntie Esther say, and when I pull your chain, you better bark. So they're pulling your chain, you better show up. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble, buddy. Yeah, that's it. Best show up. Let me see here. Right there. Prince William should take Princess Charlotte, a keen goalie, to the World Cup final. The Lionesses would be thrilled. Spain Queen Letizia and daughter will be supporting their girls. Come on, Kensington Palace, do the job, please. What? What about this one? Now, you know this one right here. He's a royalist. Spain can send Queen and her daughter, and we send the culture secretary, as Prince William will not travel to watch the Lionesses in their first World Cup final. Nick Ferrari, LBC, says that if it was the blokes, you would have everybody there. Exactly. If it was boys competing, William would be there. If there were the young men competing, William would be there. But it's a girls' team, and he doesn't show up. Oh, boy, that's asking for it. I hope he doesn't go. I hope he doesn't go. Let me see. She wants to be a cougar. Harry is hers. All right. Thank you for that. I heart Sussex World. And right there, President, all right, FA President William and PM Rishi Sunak will attend World Cup final. Well, that is, was that one? Let me see. FA. That's an old story, right? Who is the summer break match television? Cheers, Lionesses versus Kensington. The Lionesses on Kensington Palace confirmed. Oh, yeah, so that was 2022. William following the Women's Euro Sport. Okay, so he did go to that one, right? I think so. I can't remember. I can't remember which and which, but yeah. But don't go, William. Don't go. Show them who you are. Show them what kind of stud you are. Don't go. Stand your ground, fight your corner, and don't go. That way I'll have plenty to talk about next week. Lorna Williams says, Barry Common Sense and Willie Leaks are foreign subjects. He wasn't born with it, and he doesn't have it, and it is as fleeting as his hairline. You got a bell for that one. You got a bell for that one. Thank you. And right there, Kevin McKenzie, whoever that is, remarkably, Prince William has been president of the FA since 2006. I recognize the 22-hour flight is a schlep, but duty calls. Unforgettable. Unforgettable. Where we to win, and our rep was a low-level politician, he would already be there had it been the men's final. What is everybody trying to say? If it was the men, he would have already been there. You have no choice. What are people trying to say? Why do they keep pointing out? And even Helen, you too, Helen? That's why the two look like a pulled pork sandwich? I don't get it. What are you all trying to imply? Why do y'all keep pointing out if it were the men? If it were the men? I don't get it. Let me see, Baron. What if Harry shows up down under? I'm sure William would find his way there. Oh, my goodness, Charles. That would be amazing. I'm sorry, Lambert. That would be amazing if Harry was to just pop up. Let me see. Prince William faces growing pressure to attend Women's World Cup final. And over here, where is Prince William? Royal is keeping a low profile as row deepens over decision to snub Lionesses World Cup final in favor of a family holiday. Prince of Wales will instead be cheering on England against Spain from home. Well, the question is actually, it's unclear whose home he'll be doing the cheering. But yeah, he better do something. Wow, I'm loving this. You know what? This reminds me of somebody. This is what I'm doing right now. Everybody go ahead and do like Emily Andrews right now. Put your fingers over your lips. We'll all do an Emily Andrews at the same time. Woo! That is so funny to me. But yeah, this is getting messy. Let's just all put our fingers over our lips like that. Oh, okay. So, well, I guess his mind. I guess his mind is made up. He's not going. So, I was just having fun. I get what you guys are saying. If it were the men's team, you would see William down there in some stilettos, wearing a bullet bra and singing "Where the Boys Are." Ah, you know what I'm saying? Like they said, where the boys are. If it was a boys' team, William would be there. William would be there. William would be there in some in some slingbacks. William would be there wearing some cha-cha heels. Where the boys are, someone waits for me. A smiling face, a warm embrace, two arms to hold me tenderly. Where the boys are, my true love will be. Oh, man. Well, you know what? On that, we are unanimous. It's funny that everybody is saying the same thing. If it were men, he would be there. It's funny how we all seem to have pulled pork sandwiches in common when we're speaking about William. Yeah, if there were more pulled pork sandwiches, he would be there. If he has to go, he probably won't be smiling when he gets there. He'll probably look like this. That would be the William that finally gets there 22 hours later. Yeah, he would be cheering. He would be cheering, but he would not be a happy camper. So, which do you prefer? This William? Wait, okay, this one or this one? Number one or number two? I like number one. Number one is a cut up. Okay, let me see. Having a peggling suspicion that William's not going down under. No pun intended, I'm sure, Legs. Oh, well, I couldn't wait to get to this part. It's just funny that everybody is saying the same thing. If it was boys, if it was boys. Okay, and once again, tell me more about your poor pork sandwich. I'll have the pulled pork sandwich, please. Yeah, if you can go to Poland for a pulled pork sandwich, you can go to Australia for the whatever cup final. Cynthia, thank you so much for the super sticker and thank you for watching. And of course, right here, Prince William, I only do things that benefit me, like flying Beckham to my Earth plop PR scam for one day. Well, he didn't exactly say that, but in spirit, I do think those were his exact words. But yeah, this is the man who flew David Beckham all the way to Boston from the Middle East on a private jet, paid for out of the funding for the Earth flop. He paid for it with donated money just so that he could have a big name at the event, right? The only thing is, William refused to invite the contestants. Well, not contestants, but the recipients of the prize. Like this young lady right here. She's done something to advance the environmental safety of everyone, but did she get a ticket to Boston? Nay. And what about this right here? Throne Idol, 13 royal jobs this year. Poorly. Queen's done 24. This is while the Queen was having those back problems and stuff. The Queen has already done 24 jobs that year. And this had to have been by March. And the reason I say that is because it was March when William decided it was better to go skiing than to go to the what do you call it? The Commonwealth Day. And that's why I say this is the biggest backlash that William has had in quite some time. And I love it. I love it so much. I'm going to do it one more time. That's how much I love it. That's how much I love it. I love it so much. I'm going to do my Emily Andrews. That's how much I'm enjoying this moment. I can't get enough of it. I'm telling you, it's my best day since Christmas. And William is providing me with so much new material. Thank you, William. One more time. One more time. There you go. Thank you, William. I got that out of my system. Okay. Now, let me go. Oh, I got to get back where I was, don't I? So there's that. Was I here? Okay, and I did that one. This one. Oh, there you go. Commonwealth Day. See what I mean? Notice the jacket. Commonwealth Day 2017. Where's William? William is on the slopes. And if that's not enough, there he is on the right side. Woo, woo, dancing by himself on the stage. Dancing by himself. And I wish you could see the look that everybody had at that time. There's a couple of girls that were sitting at the bar that were looking into the camera like, what in the actual frappuccino is going on? They were so unimpressed that Prince William was up there dancing. Not only did they not try to dance with him, they seemed to be rather annoyed with the fact that he was there. You might think there was something endearing about unguarded dad dancing, royal arms akimbo, pumping hard but out of time. Here was a man on the brink of middle age, determined to let what remains of his hair down. But plenty have taken a sterner view of Prince William. And if the picture and videos are disappointingly fuzzy, the overall impact could hardly have been more clear. Now, that was written by Robert Jobson. And again, I'm going to say what I said the other day. Robert Jobson only wrote this article because he was instructed by Clarence House. He was instructed by Clarence House to send a message to the heir to the throne. He was sent a message to tighten up your ship, tighten up or whatever, to get your business in order because mummy is not well, and pretty soon you are going to be king, and you need to take this job serious. William only appeared to work when Meghan showed up. Kate only appeared to work when Meghan showed up. Before Meghan, they were leaning so heavily on Harry, and they would have kept doing it. But the only thing is, it was getting to the point where it was embarrassing that the Sussexes were working so hard, and Will and Kate were still very lackadaisical about their positions. This what you've seen in 2023 is the most work that they've ever done, especially Kate. That's the most work she's ever done. They used their children as excuses. As a matter of fact, that was the excuse for this 2-month vacation. You remember that? Just this 2 months vacation, they said that they wanted to spend more time with their kids. Like every working adult in Britain has that same option. So we're taking 2 months off. We're going to Balmoral and the island of Mystique so we can spend more time with our kids and give them more attention. 45 minutes by chopper, that is, or nearly 3 hours on the road. The environmental warrior, William, he could have taken the helicopter, and he did. 100 miles in 45 minutes at a speed of 178 miles per hour. That cost the taxpayers $5,000. And you all know that it was more than that, right? But that's what they're telling us. They must only count the fuel. That's $5,000. They could have taken the train like the Queen often does or would for just 23 minutes. I'm sorry, King's Cross. Oh, yeah, 23 minutes in the car, an hour and 55 minutes by train, and another car, 20 minutes. So, okay, still not 45 minutes, but it only costs the taxpayers $110. Or the car in 2 hours, that would have been 80 minutes, $80, 80 pounds. So that just gives you an idea of how and this was 2017, April 2017. Well, April 2017, the Sussex's relationship was mostly a secret, I think. So there was no Harry and Meghan to attack at that time. But this is how they used to talk about the Cambridges. It wasn't racist, of course, but they were the focal point of people's frustration, mostly just because they didn't work. They didn't do anything. Lex says, wait, why does he need his name on that helmet? Because he's not that bright. Thank you so much, Lex. Because he's not that bright. Somebody needs to remind him. And take a look here. No packed trains for us. Will and Kate commutes home in an 8 million pound helicopter, and you pay the bill. Can you believe that? That was a Daily Mail story about them in 2017. And there, of course, is the famous private jet that they always take. Here on the right, the Flybe scheme, the usual helicopters, no worry about a carbon footprint. Right now, he gets away with it because just like his father, he made some type of deal with the media. That's what you get when you're in the bed with the media. All you have to do is feed your sister-in-law to the wolves, throw your brother to the wolves, and you get away with all that stuff. And that's the climate change hypocrite. Helicopters, private jet, multiple homes, personal train, climate change hypocrite. Prince William pushes population control in Africa, but yet he has 4 homes, I think it's 5 now, 3 children, fleet of Range Rovers. Oh, and let's not forget the 8 million pound helicopter. Okay, so here is the correction that I mentioned in the thumbnail. Now, as you can see here, the other day, there was that unfortunate hashtag Meghan Markle is toxic. Remember that? This is from what Meghan wore. So in the spirit of fairness, in the spirit of fair play, I'm going to share with you this. So Royal Suitor posted this, closing the loop on this one. A mistake was made and corrected. Rachel Burnfield hasn't been a contributing editor since the fall of 2022. Her podcast isn't affiliated with the blog. What Meghan wore has been independently run has been independently run from the similarly named Kate's blog since 2020. So I believe they're trying to say this blog has nothing to do with what Kate wore. Okay? They're 2 different blogs. One has nothing to do with the other. Okay, fine. Fine. If they say that's the case, that's the case. Now, this is supposed to be a mistake. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. Because we had a nice long conversation about that the other day, where I brought up an old tune from the 60s or 70s or whatever. And so anyway, let me get that up here. So it says here, I'd like to start by addressing a recent incident on our social media platform, Twitter. On Tuesday, I tweeted about Meghan's recent birthday celebration with her friends, sharing details about her necklace that had sparked interest among our followers. During this process, I realized I had mistakenly tagged the wrong Twitter account for the jeweler, Ariel Gordon. Swiftly recognizing this error, I promptly edited the tweet. However, during the editing process, an unexpected auto-complete feature on Twitter altered my hashtag to ones I would never intentionally use. Typically, I rely on a consistent set of 2 to 3 hashtags on Twitter. What Meghan wore, and hashtag what Meghan wore, hashtag Meghan Markle, and occasionally hashtag Duchess of Sussex. Regrettably, I failed to notice that the hashtag Meghan Markle had changed to hashtag Meghan Markle toxic, right? The tag that auto populates when typing hashtag Meghan Markle, featuring a list of very negative hashtags, which it does, to be fair, it really does, is crucial to clarify that I'm usually meticulous about selecting appropriate hashtags, and the original post did indeed include the correct hashtag. This oversight boils down to 2 key issues. I made a mistake initially. I neglected to double check my work after editing. So, as I understand it, she actually she picked the wrong manufacturer for the necklace, right? Let's go back and look at that. You see there? So when she had put whatever it was the first time, and that was wrong. It was AG Jewelry, Ariel Gordon Jewelry, I think was what she corrected. So when she did the hashtags the second time, apparently when she put in Meghan Markle, and that does happen. I'm going to be fair and say that does happen, because I have tried to do the hashtag, and because so many of the Deranger accounts have that when you do the hashtag, you really have to make sure you look at it to make sure you got the right one. So if what she says is true, that is possible. Now, continuing with that, it says, an acquaintance, Royal Suitor, brought this error to my attention, prompting my immediate mortification. I promptly deleted the tweet and reposted it with the accurate hashtag. Subsequently, I addressed several comments from individuals accusing me of harboring negative sentiments toward Meghan. I encourage those seeking further clarification to pursue the thread for more insight. Here, irrespective of this, the damage has been done, and I extend my sincere apologies for my lapse in due diligence. See the reposted and edited tweets below. Apologies, I do not have a copy of the original tweet showing the edit. So, all right, so she says she does not have the copy of the original tweet. I've never seen the original one, but it was said that she put the wrong information for the necklace, and when she went back to fix it or delete it and replace it, when she added the hashtag again, that's where everything went wrong. So as I said before, let your conscience be your guide. it is what it is. That's her explanation. So I, like a lot of people, I thought that Rachel Birchfield was the person who likely edited or should I say, added the tweet. It appears that it was not Rachel Birchfield. She has not worked with them since late 2022. So, unfortunately, I don't have the name of let me see, what is her name? I don't have the name of the person that operates the social media for the page right now, or the person who edits the What Meghan Wore. I don't have her name in front of me, but again, apparently it was not Birchfield. It was the person who wrote this lengthy explanation, and there is more to it. So, in the spirit of fair play, I just wanted to put it out there. I didn't want to see this and not say anything, and people can make decisions for themselves. But that is the follow-up to that. So, again, in the spirit of fair play. However, it doesn't mean that I think that Rachel Birchfield is necessarily fair when dealing with the Duchess of Sussex. She is a royal reporter, and they do depend on her insight. And, I don't know if she's team one or the other or both. I don't know enough about her. I only have the information that was before me, and that was that she was one of the contributing editors to that page, and etc. So, start shining bright above you. Night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. Birds singing in a sycamore tree. Dream a little dream of me. Yes, until I know better. Say nighty night and kiss me. Just hold me tight and tell me you miss me. While I'm alone and blue as can be, dream a little dream of me. Yes, yes. I that part of it, I'm just gonna leave it alone for now. But I tell you what, at least I've been to the UK. At the time of the recording that I heard from her, Birchfield had never even been there. So let me see here. Duchess of Advocacy. Hey, special case. Sorry, she looks like a typical deranger. Well, as Special K, I was just saying the other day, to me, she just reminds me of somebody who wandered into a hotel room with a pastrami sandwich and never walked out again. Starts fading, but I linger on, dear. Start craving your kiss. I'm longing to linger till dawn. Oh man. Okay. So I'm going to leave this alone. So this royal reporter from Alabama, the same place where Carolyn Graham is from, a daughter of Dixie, has somehow become the darling of the British tabloid media. And anyway, dream a little dream. Okay, you guys, on a more serious note, take a look at this painting and tell me what you think of it, please. Oh, let me do this. Okay, Bellazzar and the Frey children. Can you guys see Bellazzar? Do you guys see Bellazzar? I know it's going to take a minute for you to answer, but can you see Belisar? Oh, you have legs, huh? I love we have that connection. Well, Belisar, as Legs already knows, is not visible. As I said yesterday, representation matters. That has been a constant theme on Royal Sussex. Representation matters. We need to see ourselves in spaces, whether they're big or small, whether they're wealth building spaces, quality of life spaces. We have to see ourselves in those spaces to know what's possible. So, in this particular space, this is a vintage painting. And what you don't see here is Belisar. There's the children, but there's no Belisar. Well, in 1837, a portrait of an enslaved child, obscured by overpainting for a century, has been restored and acquired by the Met. That's the Metropolitan Museum in New York. A collector dedicated to unearthing Louisiana's African American history through works of art identified the painting's enslaved sitter. It does not appear that Belisar was related to the family Frey. State property records show that the family purchased the boy and his mother, Sally, when he was just 6 years old. Around 15 at the time of the portrait, he was likely the caretaker of the children in the painting, none of whom lived to adulthood. I want you to listen to that. None of those children in that painting lived to adulthood. Coralie Frey sold Belisar to the Evergreen Plantation, where Shannon now works as head of history and interpretation. I'm sorry. Listen to me. Interpretation. And in 1856, there are no records about his life after the start of the Civil War. So Belisar may very well have went on to live a long life, maybe. But the children, none of those children survived to adulthood. But that's how life was back then. A lot of kids, if they didn't make it past age 5, they may not make it at all. Now, meet Belisar. There's Belisar right there. Belisar appears to be of mixed race heritage, and he was painted out of the image. He was overpainted, as they said. And there's a lot of paintings that similarly, over the years, they have x-rayed and found out that there was a hidden figure. And in this instance, Belisar was the hidden figure. Now, I don't know that they even had to x-ray because it's kind of hard to see it here, but you can just barely make out the outline of someone standing next to the tree, just barely. But what they did was they just continued the landscape, but the water looks a little different right there compared to the rest of it. But still, you can barely tell the difference because of the fact that this paint is old and dirty and needed restoration. So taking a look right here, you can see once they put Belisar, or should I say, took the layers of paint off of him. Let me see. Were they slaves? The children were not slaves. Only Belisar. The children were the owner's children, the slave master's children. So Belisar, who you see there, I'll give you a closer look. You'll notice that his eyes are not looking at you. They're averted away from you. Usually in a lot of the old paintings, the black characters in the painting are not looking directly at the painter. They are usually looking away. It really has to be someone of status that looks directly at you. Like in the painting of Belle Dido, or is it Dido Belle? In that painting of Dido, you will notice that she's gazing directly at you. So if someone is looking away, that is usually in reference to them of being subservient. So in this case, he is likely the caretaker for the children. Now, because of his complexion, and even though they say that he wasn't related to the family, I think he was. I think that he was probably related to the family in some kind of way. But even if he wasn't, you know, in New Orleans, there was some very, what do you call it? There was a lot of ambiguities when it came to who was and who was not actually doing certain types of labor, right? So if you had a fair complexion, and obviously this kid was likely educated. They didn't say so, but I'm thinking he must have had some kind, because he's a caretaker to them. Now, if he's not their caretaker, if he's not educated, and I suspect he is, but then again, maybe he wasn't. If he doesn't have any type of education, then he may have been the child of a relative or perhaps the slave master himself. And I'm going to tell you why I believe that to be true. Because after the master of the house died, the mistress sold him when he was age 15. She sold him. Now, either she was, you know, suffering financially, or she did not want her husband's offspring in the house with her other children. That's what I think. That's what I think. Now, I don't have all the information, but that's what I believe, is that he may have been a relative to those children. He may have been an uncle. He may have been a half brother. He may have been something to them. And it's the only reason why I could imagine that he was sold after the master of the house died. Now, the other thing is, remember, none of those three children there survived to adulthood. So maybe they died off before, you know, hard to say. I mean, back in those days, people died from cholera and typhoid, yellow fever or whatever. People died, you know, and living in the South like that, living around a bunch of water and everything, well, you know, a lot of things could have happened. So, go figure. Anyway, it's a lovely painting. And the painting was in a museum in, what was it, in Georgia? I think it was, wherever it was. The museum, oh no, it was in New Orleans, I think. The mistress of the house had it painted over. That's the other thing. Not only did she get rid of him, oh God, that beast. Not only did she get rid of him, but someone had him painted out of the painting, right? So he was removed physically and otherwise by them sending him away to, I think it was the Evergreen Plantation, or did he live at the Evergreen? I think he lived at the Evergreen Plantation. So they got rid of him. And then at some point, he was painted out of the portrait. Again, I think he was done away with because he may have been related to someone at the Evergreen Plantation. So there you go. And who knows? Maybe he was a half brother to the mistress of the house. What do you think? He could have been half brother to the mistress of the house. I mean, after all, if she was having children, she had to have been in her 20s. And at that time, he was, so she may have been maybe about 10 years his senior. I'm just speculating. Very interesting, though, right? Well, I got one more to show you. And yeah, so I told you already, they said there's no record of him after the start of the Civil War. So who knows what happened to him? They don't know where he's buried, and they only just figured out his name from the census records, they were able to establish his name, which is another indication that he was of a little higher status than the average person, because the fact that they had his name mentioned on the census is unusual. That's unusual that his name was even mentioned. And then there's Jeremiah Schultz, Portrait of Lady Holding Orange Blossom. This is another one of those paintings that could have been lost to time, but somehow it has been saved. Nobody knows who she is, but they are some people, like in the last few years, there has been a lot of people that has been trying to save or resurrect or find or at least bring some of these paintings into galleries where they can be preserved and conserved properly, because otherwise there's a lot of paintings that are being lost because a lot of the galleries, if you're not pale, stale, and male, they're not interested in the artwork. And that's what happened with this painting, is that the lady who inherited the painting, she donated the painting to a museum in New Orleans. And then for over 30 years, the painting just stayed in storage. They didn't put the painting on display or anything. They didn't take any steps to, because the lady told them, this is what's interesting, is the white family member that donated the painting said, listen, there's another image that was overpainted. So I'm going to donate this painting. You may want to try to strip that back and put the painting back into its original state. And the museum was like, okay. And then they put it in storage for over 30 years. So when the painting was purchased, they didn't care about the painting. They sold it for like $6,000. Well, there's one biracial guy who considers himself African American. He purchased the painting, and he even had the painting, restored, because, and I'm sorry, I don't have his name or a picture of him, but he wants to try and like spearhead a campaign to help save a lot of the African American artwork that has disappeared or is lingering somewhere. Do you know this painting was actually kept in a garage? The lady did not display it. She kept it in a garage. Before she donated the painting, it was in a garage. And then from the garage, it went into the museum storage. And then the museum sold it because they weren't interested in it. And when they sold it, the person an antique dealer who purchased it, he restored it. And he was the one who decided it needed to go back to a museum where it would actually be appreciated. So that is how it got to the Met Museum, is because this one person. So good for him. And now Bellazzar gets to at least have his name spoken of again. Otherwise, he would have been just another anonymous person in history that just disappeared for whatever reason, the usual reason. This person, we may never know who she is. But if you take a look there, you can see that she was obviously a woman of African American descent that had some type of status, because look at her dress. Look at her dress. She's got on expensive jewelry, and she has that nice lace work at the top of her dress. That is not a poor person. That is someone of status. So, and the painter was either German or Austrian, they said. This Jeremiah Schultz, I don't think he was actually born in the U.S. And then there's this one, Portrait of a Young Man Wearing a Green Jacket Holding a Cane, signed J. Schultz. So it may be the same painter, but they're not sure. But this too is someone of mixed race and someone of status, because you can't see it here, but if you could zoom in on that cane, there's like some type of jewels that are attached to the cane, again, to signify a person of status and wealth. But they don't know who that is either. So there's a lot of people that had means, and there's probably a lot of paintings out there and a lot that have been lost. So kind of heartbreaking when you think about it. But as the antique dealer said, it is part of African American history that deserves to be conserved. B. Martin says, Baron, when you don't know your past, you don't know your future. Heller. Amen to that. Thank you, B. Martin. That is so true. If you don't know your past, you don't know your future. And I think that'll be our last word for today, as a matter of fact. I like that. When you don't know your past, you don't know your future. Okay. Now, after all of that beautiful artwork, here I go being messy. Furious Donald Trump demands Fox News stop showing unflattering photo of him where he looks big and orange with his chin pulled way back. The Donald Trump, 77 years old, used to like Fox News and is known to be a regular viewer. Well, this abstract image what a transition, right? This grotesque image, I think, should be, you know what? If they ever put him on the currency, which they won't, but if they ever put him on the currency, this is exactly the image I want them to use. Big, orange, grotesque, big, fat, sloppy, nasty, greasy Donald Trump. And let me see, is this the last one for today? Yes, this is our last one for today. Take a look at this image. I love this. In case you can't see it, those are all women up there at the top. Those women are doing work that is not a very traditional job for women. They are construction workers. See that? And down there at the bottom, you can see the president, vice president of the United States, also in a very untraditional position for women in this country. And yet there they are out there making a difference. So I'm going to leave you with that. And our last thought of the day is, if you don't know your past, you won't know your future. Thank you. Was that B. Martin for that? And thank you much, everybody, for being here. Thank you for spending some time on Royal Sussex. Thanks for your very generous and thoughtful donations. And as always, thanks to our moderators for keeping this a safe space. And thank you for all the information that you all have shared. It has been a delight as usual. And yeah, so that's that. And love you guys. I will see you all tomorrow. And yeah, but we'll do it again. Okay. All right. Let me see. 186,000 and spent it on oh really? That's interesting. Yeah, exactly. People must go to the American History Museum in DC before all of the important art disappears. So true. So true. I always say take some time out and enjoy some artwork. Always got to do that. If you don't have art in your home, find something you like and live with it. Just live with it. You may only look at it occasionally, but every time it should bring some type of joy to you. So find something you like, hang it up on the wall. Yeah, something. Okay. And it doesn't have to be everybody's taste. You're the only one that has to love it or like it or whatever. But yeah, do that. Okay. And with that, I am going to Avenger us out of here. And thank you, of course, our queens. Always ends with our queens. Okay. Okay, we're good. All right. Q Ginger Avenger. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.